Hello my dear students, only when the atom is neutral, the number of protons will be equal to number of electrons, 80 above. That means this is the mass number. The frequency is decreasing. Here what is same? Mass number is same. Atomic number is different. If a charged particle is accelerating, they will emit radiations or energy in the form of radiation or wave. Hello my dear students, welcome back to the third session on the chapter Structure of Atom. Last class, we learnt about the discovery of neutrons, Thomson's atomic model and Rutherford's atomic model. Today, we learn about atomic numbers, mass number and isotopes as well as about electromagnetic spectrum. So, we will see what is in store for us. First, we have atomic number. What is atomic number? The number of protons in the nucleus of an atom. Okay, the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom is called as atomic number. Atomic number is denoted by the letter Z, and the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom is also equal to number of electrons in a neutral atom. Only when the atom is neutral, the number of protons will be equal to number of electrons. Otherwise, we have to take care when the atom is in its ionic state. Next, what we have is mass number. The mass of the atom is basically because of protons and neutrons. So, if we add both of them, we get mass number. So, mass number is number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So, what is mass number? It is the sum of number of protons and the number of neutrons. It is denoted by letter A. So, Z is atomic number and A is mass number. This is how we represent an atom of an element. Now, if X is the atomic symbol for an element, then above that we write the mass number, which is protons plus neutrons, and below we write the atomic number, which is equal to the number of protons. Okay, for example, I can take carbon, in which carbon has a symbol C. Its atomic number is 6 and mass number is 12. Okay, or I can take even nitrogen, where symbol is N, atomic number is 7, whereas mass number is 14. Okay, this is how we represent an atom. Okay, the protons and neutrons present in the nucleus are collectively also called as nucleons. Protons and neutrons are also called as nucleons. Okay. Next, we have some numericals in which you have to tell how many protons, how many electrons and how many neutrons are present. So, the first one, calculate the number of protons, neutrons and electrons, and the symbol is given. It is bromine. In bromine symbol, they have given 35, which is written below. That means, what is this? This is the atomic number. So, atomic number Z is equal to 35, which is nothing but number of protons. I hope you understood. And in the symbol, they have written 80 above. That means this is the mass number. So, A is mass number, which is equal to 80, which is what? It is the sum of protons and neutrons. Correct? Now, if I have to get the number of neutrons, okay, if I have to get the number of neutrons, then number of neutrons is A minus Z. That is, you take the mass number, okay, and from the mass number is what? Protons plus neutron. You minus the atomic number. Atomic number is number of protons alone. So you'll get the number of neutrons. So number of neutrons is A minus Z. That is mass number minus the atomic number, which is 80 minus 35, which is equal to 45. Now what about the number of electrons? Number of electrons is equal to number of protons in a neutral atom. Can you find any charge on bromine? No, that means it's a neutral atom. So the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons, which is nothing but the atomic number 35. So from the symbol I got the number of protons, neutrons as well as electrons. For this particular atom, the number of protons is 35, the number of electrons is also 35, and number of neutrons is mass number minus the atomic number, which is equal to 45. So this question can be asked for 2, sometimes it can also be asked for 3 marks. Okay, we have one more problem here, which is a little different from the first one which I have solved. Here they have given us the number of electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, so I'll just read the question for y'all. The number of electrons, protons and neutrons in a species are 18, 16 and 16 respectively. Okay, assign the proper symbol to the species. So they are asking us to assign the symbol to the species. So you are supposed to write the symbol like this. Okay, so I'll just solve the problem for y'all. What have they given us? The number of electrons is equal to, see, number of electrons is 18, number of protons is 16 and number of neutrons is also 16. So number of protons is nothing but the atomic number. So atomic number is equal to number of protons, which is equal to 16. So your symbol, already you got the atomic number. Next, you want to find out the mass number. So mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. Correct? So this is equal to 16. Number of protons is 16. How many number of neutrons we have? That is also 16. So 16 plus 16, which is equal to 32. Correct? Now we have to find out the number of electrons so that we can write the symbol. Here the number of electrons, if you observe, it is not equal to the number of protons. Electrons are in excess when you compare it with proton. What do you get to know from this? It is understood that when the number of electrons are more, then it is an anion. So how many excess of electrons are present? So number of excess electron is equal to 18 are present, which they have given us, out of which 16 is of its own. So there are 2 in excess. So the charge on the atom should be 2 minus because excess electron is present. So shall we write the symbol? Because the atomic number is 16, I know the element is sulfur. So I write sulfur. Now, how many number of protons is present? 16, which is the atomic number. So I will write 16 below. Then the mass number is number of protons plus neutrons, which is equal to 32. Because there is excess of electron, we got to know that it is an anion and there are 2 excess electrons. So the atom has to get a charge of 2 minus. So it's a sulfide ion which has got atomic number 16, mass number 32. I hope you have understood how to solve this problem. If you have any doubts, you can pause the video, you can write it down and again play and try to understand the problem. Okay. Next we have what are isotopes and isobars. First is what are isotopes? Isotopes are the atoms of the same element. Okay. Atoms of the same element have same atomic number but different mass number. Okay, so they have same atomic number but different mass number. Why exactly do they have a different mass number? Because they have different number of neutrons. Okay, for example, you can see hydrogen atomic number is same, but then mass number you can see here it is 1, for this one it is 2 and the third one it is 3. This is called as protium, deuterium, tritium. Okay, here you can see the number of proton is 1 but the number of neutrons in protium is 0, but the number of neutrons here is 1, here it is 2. Okay, so there is a change in mass number. Similarly, one more example of chlorine. Chlorine has atomic number 17. So both the atoms of chlorine has the same atomic number 17, but mass number is 37 and 35. That means the number of neutrons again is changing. Here for the first isotope, the number of neutron is 37 minus 17, that is it is 20, whereas here the number of neutron is equal to 35 minus 17, which is equal to 18. So you can see isotopes are arised when there is a difference in number of neutrons in the atoms of the same element. Okay, so what are isotopes again? Isotopes are the atoms of the same element with same atomic number but different mass number. Next what we have is what are isobars. What are isobars? Isobars are atoms of different elements. You can see here atoms of different elements having same mass number but different atomic number. Here what is same? Mass number is same, atomic number is different. When they are telling that atomic number is different, of course the element should be different, correct? All the elements cannot have the same atomic number. So here the mass number is same but the atomic number is different. So examples I can give for carbon and nitrogen. Here atomic number for carbon is 6, for nitrogen is 7, but both have same mass number 14. One more example I can give nickel and iron, in which the atomic number is different but mass number is 58. I hope you have understood about isotopes and isobars. There is one more thing which is called as isotones. Okay, what is it? Isotones. What are isotones? Isotones are atoms of different elements which contain same number of neutrons. So what should be same here? Neutrons. Okay, so if they contain same number of neutrons but the atoms can be of different elements, then we also call them as isotones. This will help you all for your competitives. Next we have the discoveries which led to the Bohr's model of atom. So there were several discoveries which were made which Niels Bohr utilized to develop Rutherford's atomic model. So what did Niels Bohr do? He used the developments to improve the Rutherford's atomic model. So which are the developments which came in his way? They are dual character of electromagnetic radiations. The electromagnetic radiations have two types of character, that is, they behave like a wave and they behave like a particle. So this development actually helped Bohr to give his atomic model. There is one more development which came in his way, that is atomic spectra. Okay, what is atomic spectra and how we can explain how he utilized this particular experiment to give Bohr's atomic model, we learn in our further classes. Okay, so first let's see about electromagnetic radiations. Clerk Maxwell in 1873 said that the electromagnetic radiations can be generated by any accelerating charged particle. What is it? If a charged particle is accelerating, they will emit radiations or energy in the form of radiation or wave. Okay? Any accelerating charged particle will emit energy in the form of radiation or wave, which we call it as electromagnetic radiations or electromagnetic waves. So what are these electromagnetic waves? The radiations which are associated with electrical and magnetic field are called as electromagnetic waves. Okay, or it can also be called as electromagnetic radiations. When electrically charged particle move under acceleration, accelerating electrical and magnetic fields are produced and it is transmitted. So they are producing electrical and magnetic field which is being transmitted. Okay, these fields are transmitted in which form? In the form of a wave. So whenever the particles are moving, there is wave or there is emission of energy in the form of radiation, and in these radiations you have electrical field. You can see it is in pink, the electrical field, and then you have perpendicular to that you have the magnetic field, and these two are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the radiation or electromagnetic wave. So this is one of the main property of electromagnetic radiations. Okay, we'll see the other properties. First one, the oscillating electric and magnetic field produced by oscillating charged particles. That is, when charged particles are moving or accelerating, they produce electric and magnetic field. Okay, and these two fields are perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the propagation of wave. Okay, it is perpendicular to one another, electric field. If it is in this way, magnetic field is just perpendicular to one another, and these two are perpendicular even to the direction of propagation of the wave. Next, electromagnetic wave do not require a medium. They can also move in vacuum. Okay. The next one, the arrangement of different types of electromagnetic radiations in order of increasing wavelength. What is wavelength? I shall explain. Is called as electromagnetic spectrum. So there are different types of electromagnetic radiation. They are arranged in a particular order, and that is called as electromagnetic spectrum. So this is our electromagnetic spectrum. In electromagnetic spectrum, you can see it starts with high frequency. As you move forward, it goes up till low frequency. So in this particular direction, from left to right, the frequency is decreasing, but if you see the wavelength, here it is shorter wavelength. The same electromagnetic radiations have shorter wavelength, but as we move from left to right, the wavelength is increasing. So it is in the order of increasing wavelength and decreasing frequency. So first we have gamma rays, after that we have X-rays, then we have ultraviolet rays, then you have the visible light, okay, or the visible region. After that you have infrared region, next you have microwaves, and then with the radio waves. In the visible region you can see it's violet to red, okay. So that is about the electromagnetic spectrum. Next we will see about the characteristics of electromagnetic radiations. First is wavelength. Wavelength, what do you mean by wavelength? It is defined as distance between the two neighboring crest or two neighboring trough. What do you mean by crest or trough? If this is a wave, okay, the topmost part of the wave we call it as crest, and this is called as a trough. So if you are taking the distance between the two crest or the two trough which is just next to one another, then we call it as a wavelength, okay. Here you can see if the distance is short, then we call it as short wavelength. If this distance is longer, then we call it as long wavelength. If the wavelength is short, the frequency will be high. If the wavelength is long, the frequency will be low. That means they are inversely proportional to one another, okay. So next we will see wavelength is denoted by lambda. It is denoted as lambda, okay. Next we have frequency. What do you mean by frequency? It is defined as number of waves which can pass through a particular point in 1 second. That is, if this is a particular point, in 1 second, how many number of waves, okay, this is one wave, okay, how many number of waves can pass through a particular point in 1 second, that is called as frequency. What is it? It is the number of waves which can pass through the point in 1 second. It is denoted by the symbol nu. It is nu. It is called as nu. It is just like V when you write it. Next we have velocity, which can be denoted by C or V. Okay, what do you mean by velocity? It is defined as distance traveled by the wave in 1 second. How? What is the distance traveled by the wave in 1 second? That is velocity. In vacuum, all types of electromagnetic radiation travel with the same velocity, and its value is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. All the electromagnetic radiation have the same velocity in vacuum, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Okay. Next we have last, that is wave number, which is denoted as nu bar. Okay, we write nu and put a line over it. We call it as nu bar. It is defined as the number of wavelengths per unit length. How many wavelengths? If this is a unit length, how many wavelengths? 1, 2. 2 wavelengths are there. So similarly, how many wavelengths are there in a unit length? That is called as wave number. Wave number is also reciprocal of wavelength. Nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. Okay, so that is the formula for wave number. Next we have the relationship between frequency, velocity and wavelength. That is, velocity is equal to frequency into wavelength. C is equal to nu lambda. Okay, I'll solve a problem based on this formula. The Vivid Bharati station of All India Radio, Delhi, broadcasts a frequency of 1368 kilohertz. Okay, calculate the wavelength of electromagnetic radiation emitted by the transmitter. Which part of the electromagnetic spectrum does it belong? So you have frequency which is given. Okay, what you're supposed to calculate? You're supposed to calculate the wavelength of the electromagnetic radiation which is emitted, and also you have to tell which part of the electromagnetic spectrum does this wave belong to. Okay, so which formula we have to use? C is equal to nu lambda, because I know the frequency, velocity also I know it is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. I have to calculate the wavelength. So I have to just write the formula. C is equal to nu lambda. Okay. Then what do? I'll rearrange this formula because I know the velocity and the frequency. So lambda is equal to C by frequency, velocity by frequency. Now what is the velocity of electromagnetic radiation? It is 3 into 10 to the power 8. What is the frequency which is given? 1368 kilohertz. So it is 1368. Kilo means 10 to the power 3 hertz. Okay, you're not supposed to put directly, you have to write what is kilo. Kilo means it is 10 to the power 3. Next, what do? 3 into 10 to the power 8. This 10 to the power 3, I will take it to the numerator. Then the sign changes to minus 3 divided by 1368. Now using your calculator, you can solve this problem. 3 divided by 1368 is 0.002192. What is it? 0.002192 into, now what happens to the powers? 8 and 3, and this is minus 3. So you have to, whenever it is 10 to the power, you have to add up the exponents, because here it is multiplication which is given. So it will become 8 plus minus 3. So 8 minus 3 is 5. So I write it as 10 to the power 5. Do not stop here. Okay, because we have to find out which part of the electromagnetic spectrum it belongs to. So I will have to remove this 10 to the power 5. I will just move the points. Okay, I have one decimal point here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll get 219.2 meters. Okay, and this belongs to radio wave region in the electromagnetic spectrum. You can check it by yourself whether it is exactly in the radio wave part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So I hope you have understood today's class. Okay, next class we learn about Planck's quantum theory and photoelectric effect. Thank you, my dear children. Stay tuned, stay curious, stay focused.